Hello, do you miss me? I know it's been a while. I haven't been there, but I have a good news. I have something coming for you, my fans. I do have a video, as you will see right now. It's an interview with me and Andreas. He's my coach. He's a well-known data engineering uh, content creator and instructor, and I've partnered with him to do a quick interview on my experience and what my data engineering bootcamp is all about, which is primarily focused on Azure data engineering and Databricks. Watch this video to understand a little bit about myself and what I have in store for you. I am so excited.
Hey, Mitsue,
Hello, Andres.
have you here. Let's start with that you introduce yourself a bit. Tell us a bit about yourself, what you're doing, where you're from.
Sure. Yeah, my name is Nnaemezue Obi-eyisi, but I go by Mezu, and I'm a senior data engineer for Capgemini. It's a top IT consulting firm, and I specialize with the Databricks Practice Center of Excellence. And I'm originally from Nigeria. You can get that from my accent. I am currently based out of Houston, Texas, in US, and I just enjoy teaching data engineering, working in data engineering. In my free time, I enjoy working out and dancing. I took dance class about last few months ago.
Nice. Do you have a partner for this?
Well, not yet. I just practice by myself, and yeah.
Nice. You mentioned Databricks, Azure. What is Databricks? What is Azure?
Sure. Yeah. So let's start with Azure. Right? Azure is a cloud computing platform by that was built by Microsoft, and it's literally helping a lot of companies maintain their applications, their data analytics, all in the cloud service uh, model. So what that means is businesses can scale efficiently without having to worry about the upfront investment, building up their own data center or infrastructure. And when it comes to data analytics, I work, like I said, as a senior data engineer, and I specialize with Databricks. And what Databricks is and what I do is Databricks is actually one of the most popular computing data processing platforms in Azure space, which is built based on Spark and is used as a distributed framework to process data, analyze data, and help you business get valuable insights on their data. Not only does it help in data engineering, it also helps for machine learning and AI use cases as well.
Why is this such an important skill to have for someone? So can you give a few examples?
Yeah, sure. It's really important because when you think about it, as I've been working in this field for almost 10 years, and a lot of companies, they have very important use cases. Like when I worked in a healthcare system, they had a data warehouse where they're using that to keep track of how their patients, how long they're staying in the hospitals. And they also use that to help in their finance team to process claims and figure out how many patients haven't paid and late payments and all that. And as a data engineer, it's very important that we can use these skills to help this a client like a healthcare system, because they need to even process a lot more data. Because as you know, lately there's so many wearable devices. All of these, they generate more data, and the traditional ways of using the on-prem data warehouses, they cannot scale, they cannot handle all that data. So that's why we need to use tools like Databricks, which is cloud-based, and use the Azure cloud to help these businesses migrate their data analytics to a more scalable infrastructure that can help them process data and also do more advanced things like machine learning, being able to predict, what kind of disease or length of stays or different metrics that businesses can predict using the data that they have. I also work with another company. A good use case was an oil and gas firm. They had to also analyze their delivery, their supply chain. When in 2020, everybody remembers 2020 COVID, and it really disrupted the supply chain industry. And they brought me in as a data engineer to really help them start building data pipelines that will aggregate all this information and help predict the estimated delivery times, and if there was gonna be delays, because we are getting data from many sources, and we needed to really have a better way to manage how much delivery delays that we are having using the power of analytics.
Yeah, that sounds super interesting and very versatile.
Yeah.
How would you describe your experience with Azure so far?
Yeah, my experience with Azure has been really versatile. I like the word you use, versatile, because Azure provides you with so many different tech stack that will actually help you and any business get valuable insights from their data. Talking about the data engineering space, I actually have worked on building pipelines using tools like Data Factory. It's a highly configurable ETL tool because it helps you to create a framework, not just tedious work. Because, for example, like I told you, a lot of clients, as they are migrating to the cloud, they need to migrate so many data. And you could think of that like they can have like 100 tables that they need to migrate to their cloud data analytics platform. And as a data engineer, you don't want to create 100 different pipelines. That would be just too tedious. So with a tool like Data Factory, we are able to make it configurable, that once we build it just once, all we have to do is have they call it a configuration file that we can always update with the table name that we want to pull, and it's going to automatically pull all that data for us without much change to the original pipeline.
Nnaemezue, what are some core pillars for everybody who wants to get into the Azure topic?
To get into Azure data engineering, you really need to understand some basic fundamentals. Firstly, you have to master the fundamental programming languages. So you have, my favorites are SQL and Python. And why is this important? SQL is the language for all databases in the world. Literally, all databases speak SQL. And not only databases, but in other processing engines, be it in data warehousing, like Snowflake or Databricks that I've talked about. You can use SQL to process data in that. Then when it comes to Python, Python is highly effective programming language because as a data engineer, you are building pipelines. You're needing to orchestrate things. You need to control logic. There's so many complex transformation that you might have to do, and Python really helps you build this. You could say transformation and also build this logic that can help you deliver value for your business users. Then another pillar is learning about data modeling and data warehousing. So this topic is really important because you as a data engineer, businesses they need to have an easy way to analyze their data, right? And when they're analyzing data, there are certain core principles that need to be in play. You need to know how to model a data in a dimensional way. Like one of the famous frameworks is Star Schema. You need to learn about Kimball data modeling. You need to learn some other best practice about slowly changing dimension. I don't want to get too technical, but these principles do help businesses keep a historical track of their data and be able to answer questions about what happened in the past. Then, when it comes to the another core pillar is ETL, which means extract, transform, and load. So as extract, transform, and load, that's what we do as a data engineers all the time. We're extracting data from a source, from many sources, be it SQL database and a web API, be it like a CSV file, a text file, whatever it is. We have to extract the data. We have to store it in a central repository that can be centralized for analytics. And then we have to transform that data using the tools, some of the tools I talked about, like Databricks and SQL, using the SQL-based tools. And the other pillar is Azure Cloud. Cloud experience is very important. Since we are working in the cloud, you need to understand certain principles about working in the cloud. And then finally, the Databricks that I've spoken a lot about. Databricks is hugely important because that gives you the foundation for the distributed processing, which is super important at this day and age, because of the massive volume of data and how like frequent we are getting the data and the different structures of data that we have to process. You really need to master a framework like Databricks that is built using a distributed computing architecture that will really help you really get business value for your customers and clients.
Yeah, it's interesting. There are a lot of pillars, but very important pillars, right? We were like, you need everything to be really valuable at a company and really help a company. Now, once you have that knowledge, what are your prospects as somebody who does this, for having the skill, for understanding these pillars?
Yeah, some of the, once you have the skills, some of the prospects are, number one, you can get a very good, high-paying data engineering job. Data engineers are one of the pretty much highly paid fields in the tech industry. Junior engineers, they at least in USA, they make at least 100K, 6 figures just starting. And even not only do you get the big salary and financial benefit, but also you get a lot of flexibility. A lot of jobs, because the nature of the work you do as a data engineer, you don't have to necessarily be on site going to office every single day. You could do that at home. You can find fully remote jobs. It could be, hybrid. It's very flexible. And then another benefit I like the most is you can actually progress. When you start your journey and start as a junior data engineer, within a year or two, you can really be a mid-level or senior. And and you will gain even more financial, rewards for that. And it all depends on you, how much motivation you have, how much you are willing to put in the work. You will definitely uh, progress. The sky is your limit. That's why I love this field. It doesn't limit you. You can be your own boss in a way.
Yeah, very cool. That's true. I've worked also a lot of times in remote work, and it's also a great feature of the data engineering job, I would say. Now, for these highly motivated people, you were saying, you are also teaching this. So, how are you teaching this to these highly motivated people?
Yes, I'm teaching them all these things I talked about, the core pillars. So normally I start with the SQL and Python review, because my expectation is, as someone that's trying to learn how to be a data engineer, you need to have some technical background. And one of the best places that you have to prep yourself is in learning some basics on SQL and Python. That way, when you come into my program, I can take you to the more advanced concepts. So I will start with teaching you that SQL and Python review, making sure you understand, you re-internalize the core fundamentals that are really important for data engineering use cases. And then I start reviewing some of the cloud fundamentals, because I know that a lot of people, they might not know what exactly is the benefit of cloud, what's cloud computing. Some of the important concepts to learn are, how do we deal with the networking side of cloud? How do we deal with access control? How do we deal with security of our data? What are the core benefits of the cloud? What are the different types of service offerings in the cloud? So these are the things that you get to learn. And we also now start diving into the core part of the ETL part, which is, we're gonna learn a tool called Data Factory. It's one of the best tools to learn as a beginner, because it really does a lot for you. Not only it's very versatile in connecting to multiple hundreds of data sources, but we also learn to use it to build frameworks like that I talked about, that will help you make your life super easy in the real world, to ingest as much data without really spending a lot of time doing that. And then we will also learn the data warehousing concepts, some basics of data modeling that I talked about, that really helps you have that grounding in what it means to build an analytical platform. And we're gonna have a lot of time that we spend with Databricks, because Databricks is huge in the industry, and it has a lot of use, because that's where a lot of the processing, a lot of the complexity comes in. We learn from fundamentals around Spark. We learn a lot about using the Databricks features, how it can help us process data, all sorts of data, both structured, semi-structured, process streaming data, and really make our pipelines more efficient. And finally, I'll give you like a capstone project where you can now use all the things that we have learned. And this is capstone project is based on a personal real world experience. Like, I'm using my own experience that I've worked for over 10 years. I've compiled a real great, amazing capstone project that once you work on it, you get the real feel of what it is to be a data engineer in the real world. And After that, I'll help you supporting with the resume, like preparing your CV, resume, and some interview tips.
Very cool. How long is this going? So what's the setup of this? Is this a one-on-one coaching for a few weeks? Like what's the setup?
The coaching approach is like it's a form of a boot camp where it's at least minimum of 3 months, but you can right now with the core we're working on the content as I'm working on the content, it's actually looking to be at close to 4 to 5 months boot camp because it's gonna be covering a lot of materials that way when you get the job or you finish, you are ready to hit the ground running. You are ready to start working in the industry and providing value to your client.
And they're getting one-on-one help from you.
Exactly. You get a one-on-one help from me. I'll always be there. We have sessions every single week, multiple times, and I'll have they call it office hours, a working hour session, where you can work on the projects on the weekly assignments that I give, and I'll be there to answer any question. But it's all for you to collaborate with your teammate and work on learning the materials.
Very cool. Very cool. Nnaemezue, where can people find you? Where can people find the bootcamp?
Yeah, like people can find this bootcamp in my website. I can I'll share that with you. And they also on the link on my LinkedIn, they can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. You can follow my Medium blogs as well. I write a lot of great articles that help even experienced data engineers to really help them in their difficulties in their day-to-day tasks. And you really will find me in these three main platforms. I'm also working on, I have YouTube as well, so that will come soon. I will drop more videos on YouTube to help people as well.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm going to, in the video, under the video in the description, I'm going to put your LinkedIn, your bootcamp website, and also your YouTube channel there. So for everybody who wants a quick reminder, it's there. All right. Thanks, Nnaemezue. I wish you all the best with the bootcamp. Help a lot of students. It's absolutely amazing to see one more person who spreads the word about data engineering and helps people. Yeah, good luck.
Thank you so much, Andreas. It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you.